This is your Sports Boys, and today we'll be reacting to the Utah Jazz first round picks and what is in store for the second round pick at 32. Um, let's start off first with Cody Williams at 10. What does he bring to the Jazz? I believe he brings super good shooting to the Jazz, which is something that is very needed. He's super young, so that gives him plenty of time to develop. He's kind of small, which is kind of concerning, but I think if he starts to grow and get a little stronger, then I think he'll be the perfect prospect for the Jazz. Um, he might not be the perfect player for the Jazz right now, but I just think he has so much time to develop in the league, and I'm super excited for him to get started. Um, how long does it take him to develop? I would say 2 to 3 years before you can start to see a real big impact from him. I definitely don't think he's a first year kind of guy, but I think he can help in the first year, maybe off the bench, but maybe not even off the bench. He might. I mean, maybe if like we tank at the end of the year again, kind of like we did with Taylor Hendricks and Bryce Sensabaugh, and then they get more minutes. But if that doesn't happen, then I don't really see them getting a ton of minutes, which is kind of harder to develop. But I think in the next 2 to 3 years, I mean, spots might open up as Clarkston might leave the team or get traded, I guess. And then I think that kind of opens a spot up for him if you would like to play the shooting guard. I think obviously you kind of want him to play small forward because he's a solid wing at 6'6" and big, lengthy. And so he's kind of a guy you want to play the small forward. But also you got Bryce Sensabaugh now coming off the bench. So he might have to play the shooting guard. If I'm him, obviously you want to do whatever you can to help the team. Um, I was a little surprised that he was selected at 10. I was thinking maybe they go down the board, get somebody like Dalton Connect, which I'm a pretty big fan of him, but also I don't feel like he fit very good with the Jazz. He's not the type of guy that I wanted, anyways. We could have got Buzelis. Obviously, you don't really want him because his shooting isn't very good, which is bad for the Jazz because they need good shooting, which I think is kind of what they got in Cody Williams. And then obviously Bub Carrington. That's kind of who I wanted them to get, go down the board a little ways and get him. But Cody Williams, I'm very happy with this pick. I grade it a B plus. Um, Not being biased or anything, I think it's just a solid pick. I was thinking about giving it an A, but then I'm like, that's a little much, you know. He's not quite an A. B plus, maybe a B, but I think that's probably the right grade for him. Um, so now going down to Isaiah Collier. Um, what does he bring to the Jazz? I think he brings great playmaking, speed and physicality to the Jazz. I think obviously he's a great slasher. He can get inside, score at the rim. Obviously his shooting's kind of a concern, but is it really that big of a deal? Because Stephon Castle got selected, Mataz Buzelis got selected, Ron Holland got selected earlier. It didn't fall, but for some reason Isaiah Collier does. Doesn't quite make sense to me because all those people I mentioned are probably worse shooters than him, honestly. Not by much, but by a little bit. And they didn't fall at all, but Isaiah Collier did. But I'm happy about it because now the Jazz get him at 29. Um, I saw him going anywhere from 16 all the way to 21, and then he falls to 29. Like, that's just crazy. But I'm so happy for the Jazz because I think that's the perfect player for us. His passes are incredible. Obviously, I think Tyler Collect's probably like the best passer in this draft, and Isaiah Collier is probably like the second best. And so many teams passed up on him. So I do mention Tyler Kolek. Obviously, he fell to the second round. Is he a possibility for the Jazz in the second round at 32? I think he might be. I'm a little concerned because Kyle Filipkowski could get drafted, and I'm not a big fan of him. I wouldn't like us to get him, especially when Johnny Furphy, Tyler Smith, Tyler Kolek are still on the board. I won't be mad if Danny Ainge selects him, but just because I kind of trust him after the first round, he did really good. I think he still did pretty good in the last year's draft with Taylor Hendricks and Bryce Sensabaugh and Keontae. I think Taylor Hendricks and Bryce Sensabaugh is just going to take a little longer. Keontae obviously was a first-year bloomer, but I think it'll take him a while to develop more. I think this is kind of where he'll be for a while. But maybe I think his ceiling is like probably Anthony Simons. His build and everything kind of reminds me of him. But I think it's going to take a lot to get on that same level of Anthony. But anyways, I think Isaiah Collier was by far the biggest steal in this draft. And I'm not mad with Cody Williams either. And I grade this pick A plus easily. Like, after watching him more and more, I just get more and more high on him because the way he attacks the basket and passes, he is just the perfect player for the Jazz at 29, and I'm just so blown away by this draft because it's so incredible. And I'm just excited for the Summer League to watch to see if any of these players are going to perform good in the NBA because obviously college and NBA are a big difference, but I don't know. I'm pretty stoked to see the Summer League, and I think it's going to go well for the Utah Jazz. Obviously, if you look at their Summer League team, it's absolutely loaded. Got Taylor Hendricks, Bryce Sensabaugh, Walker Kessler, Isaiah Collier, Cody Williams. I don't think it's beatable. I think they win every single game in the Summer League this season. It's that good of a team. I didn't think Kessler was eligible anymore to play in the Summer League, but apparently he is. And it's going to be an absolute loaded team. And hopefully they'll do good for the actual Jazz roster. Even if Isaiah Collier and Cody Williams have to play in the G League for a while, like Bryce Sensabaugh did, and probably Taylor Hendricks did a little bit as well, that's fine, as long as they're developing. I mean, I think it's better to have them in the G League than not getting any minutes in the NBA and just kind of sitting there and kind of slowing down their developmental process. I just don't think that's the smart thing to do, so I would put them probably in the G League, unless they're getting minutes first year, which would be kind of surprising, but also I couldn't blame them because from what I've seen, highlights and everything, they look like great players. I am just blown away that Johnny Furphy and Tyler Kolek and Tyler Smith all fell to the second round. I had them going so early. They're some of my favorite players in the draft, and I hope so much that the Jazz get him at 32. I just think any of those players would make our team so much better, and I'm already so excited about this draft, and those are players that could make it even better. Tyler Kolek, obviously, it seems like it'd be kind of a reach after getting Isaiah Collier. Maybe a guy like Kyle Filipkowski, but I wouldn't be too happy about him just because I don't see where he would go on our team. Like, we got Collins at power forward. Some people would consider him a center, but Kessler would start the center. Filipkowski would play power forward off the bench or something, but I just don't even know where you would put him in at because he's just, I think, a mediocre power forward, but I think he can play the center because he's 7 feet tall, even though he is registered at power forward. But I don't even think we need a center, to be honest. I mean, maybe a backup center, so that might be where they're going with that. But I think the right pick would be either Johnny Furphy or Tyler Smith or Tyler Kolek. I'm super high on them. If you watch my other draft, the top 30 prospects, I put Kolek at 8, I believe, and Furphy at 9, and I think Tyler Smith at 11. So I'm super high on all of them. Obviously, I hope that's the way that Danny Ainge goes, but I kind of put a lot of trust in him now after the first round, so I'm super excited to see how it goes. I wasn't super hyped that they made the draft like 2 days. First round first day and then second round another day. I wasn't very happy about that, but also it kind of builds some suspense and makes it kind of fun. And I wasn't super excited for the second round, but now I am because there's 3 amazing prospects that I love in this draft. So I'm just I'm just so excited. And I'm pretty sure that wraps everything up. I might do another portion on this of the next pick that they select at 32. Not quite sure. So, like and subscribe if you'd like to see that. And anyways, this was your Sports Boys, over and out.